What's up? This is Chris, the Stat Guy, and welcome to the Stat Guy Show.
I think that's one thing that we do good at is putting on a show.
We live on the Statman Show, and I know people and powers that be, I know that you watch this show.
If Donald Long wants to dust some of that Cheeto dust off and buy him a car and put Stevie Fast in it, I'm all for it.
So when the Stat Guy came out and started doing all this for us, man, it's amazing to see all the different stats. And it's stuff that helps you out.
What is up? Welcome to the Stat Guy Show, episode number 82. Joining me tonight is the runner-up from Virginia, who currently sits 5th in points after 2 races, Mr. Chris Rankin. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, everybody? How's it going?
Good, man. Appreciate you coming on. I see you just arrived in Ohio.
Just pulled in like 30 seconds ago.
I appreciate you coming on as quickly as you did, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it.
How many cars did you bring with you this time?
We brought Uno. We're going to focus on winning.
Okay.
You know what, man? It was honestly, we brought one because the weather looked kind of iffy, and I was like, man, if we got to pack up 2 cars in the rain quickly, and if it got rained out, we have to bring a second trailer because we can't fit 2 push cars, 2 cars in my trailer. We can do 3, 1 push car, 2 cars, but not both. So it was just going to be too much of a job with the iffy weather, and I was like, I'm not gonna press it. And my guys here were also like, look, man, we know you love brutal chaos sometimes, but let's go win this thing. I said, all right, Don, we got unfinished business. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, man. That sounds good to me. So what can we expect this weekend? I saw last race, they went back to Instant Green, which the first race, which you didn't make, California, they had a Pro Tree. Is that something that matters to you? Do you have a preference between Instant Green or Pro Tree?
I like Pro Tree. Hey, get the charger. I'd rather Pro Tree. So whether I should say that live or not. Yeah, I don't care. I'll take whatever I get. We're gonna win whatever we gotta do. We got a fresh hot rod, so we're good.
Okay, and you didn't find out. You guys don't really know what tree they're going to use until you get there, basically.
Well, I guess honestly, when I thought the season was talked about earlier in the preliminary stage of this year, they talked about there was gonna be like a coin flip deal where we flip a coin to decide what tree we had, and I was like, okay, well that's okay, which is fine because honestly, this has been raced at Instant Green since day one, and most kind of street racing or back of the track or drag racing, road racing, no prep deals is always kind of like flashlight or Instant Green, anything other than like a straight drag strip format. So right. I thought it was fine, but being that it's kind of going to where we're trying to not leave things up to guessing and trying to keep some of the drama down and keep some great racing, I thought Pro T would be great. Obviously, leave it up to the tuner in the car at that point,
Yeah, definitely. Now, I saw a couple of drivers like Clay Cole, Tony McKinney say they are coming to Ohio for the first time this year. Do you expect there to be a couple more cars than we've seen the first 2 races? And do you think the competition will be even better?
I do, man. I think it's going to be even better this weekend because there's going to be a couple other heavy hitters here. I think Tony McKinney might be coming on a small tire, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think I did just pull in the pits. I kind of gandered around, but I was more importantly trying to get parked so I could get on my laptop, which didn't work, and I had to use my phone here. So wasn't trying to hold you up, Chris, more than anything because I know you're so danging. So, like I said, I'm always late, as my mama said, out of the womb. I'll be late to my own funeral. So I knew that I wasn't trying to make you late. I wasn't trying to create the whole Chris stigmata, across the board.
Yeah. As long as you're not late on the light, right?
That's it. As long as there's none of that shit. We got the lateness out the door getting here. That's it.
That's it. Let's talk some speed promotions racing this season.
Yeah.
So like I said earlier, after missing California, I'm going to put up the little thing. It's hard to see, but after missing California, you came right out of the gates with a runner-up finish in Virginia and put you 5th in points, tied with Cole Pez and Jeff Lutz after 1 race. Did your finishing runner-up at your first race, did that exceed your expectations for coming out for the first race of the season?
So how do I answer that on an honest level? So How do I answer that without sounding big-headed or anything? I knew going out here. I told my wife, I told some other potential monetary supporters that I was after when I going into the season. I said, look, guys, you give me the program, you give me a fresh car, you give me the opportunity to have a crew that can stay on top of everything 100%, that I can win 8 out of 10 of these races. I know that I can. So going into runner-up, we didn't have really any luck other than our car made a pass every lap, and it went faster every lap. Even when the blower broke, we still went ET'd faster than our lap against Nate Saylor Friday night. It just down a little bit of mile an hour as it laid over like the last 50 feet. But we had a strong car, we had a fast car. We're running 4.0s consistently, so it was super fast. And so we we just knew that we had a contender, and I knew that if I can keep it fresh. Now, I had 10 runs on the car after the weekend was over. Unfortunately, it wasn't fresh at that point. It did end up having a problem. It was huffing some oil going into Saturday in number 4 hole. My guys, I guess, thought it was oil draining down with the spark plugs. I knew it was a pinched ring. We didn't have time to swap it out or pull ahead and pull anything, pop it off. Maybe we could have if I would have dug deep and jumped in and did all of it with them, but it wasn't my time to jump in the party at that point. I had to stay in the laptop and really think things through for Saturday. So we did have a little bit of an issue with the motor, but it still performed very, very well, even with it being a little out the left out the lunch. I am not dissatisfied with our finish by no means. I just was disappointed. We lost for the reason we lost, but shit happens.
Yeah, definitely. Let's talk more about your journey to that runner-up position. It wasn't easy to start with, and you had Lutz in the first round. When you face somebody like Lutz in the first round, as seasoned as he is, especially in no prep racing, does your strategy change at all, or are you just worried about that first pass down on that Saturday?
So honestly, man, I never really worry about who we're racing. I always just worry, and I know this just sounds kind of a cliche maybe, but I run the lane we're in from what I think the lane will take. I also just run a tune-up that I want to put in the car, whether I'm trying to ET faster than my previous lap or whether I feel like it's going to be the fastest lap we can go on the surface that we have for that time of day. Lutz is a seasoned racer, seasoned veteran. But as I said, and during that day, I felt like sometimes, he's a great guy and super knowledgeable and been around the game forever. I'm not taking anything from him, but sometimes I feel like they can shoot for the stars and not quite land on the moon because they overshoot. And I kind of anticipated maybe that would happen, and it did. He spun, got loose, shook, whatever happened, lost tire. But I've lost Lutz just about every other time I've ever raced him up to that race in the main event with Relic X2 due to some sort of parts failure, something silly. I've had everything under the sun kind of bite me in the butt with that car. So my time was due.
Yeah, for sure. And the next two rounds, you faced Mike Bowman and Ryan Martin. Bowman made an awesome pass, his first pass against Kai. Shout out on him. And made a nice lick, and then Ryan made a nice lick against Page. Going against someone like Ryan, I know you've raced against him obviously now, but does he raise your heart rate a little bit going against someone like Ryan when you no?
No, man. So look, honestly, this is another thing I said going into this weekend. That weekend, I said, no jitters, no nothing, no. And I would create some like nonsense, superstitious things, but I'm not even superstitious anymore. Like, just let myself get in my head about the things occasionally. And I decided, look, you know what? We're letting everything hang out, and I'm not worried about nothing. And usually, and over the years, street racing these guys, whoever I lined up, whether I was street racing, Kai Kelly in the Shocker, it was always me in my lane doing my thing, and I always felt like I was as good as them, just maybe not on their stage. But I felt like I could do my part and never let the jitters get to me, and I never had them. So no, running Ryan Martin, I've fortunately had the opportunity to race him like 4 times now, and I think we're like 3-2 maybe. He's got me twice, and I got him like 3 times. But the other few times I've beaten him, he was either, and it may not have been just elimination, it could be just a grudge pass or something along those lines on a Friday night. But maybe we were testing something, maybe something didn't actually occur right in the run. But I've had good success in the past. I haven't lost every lap to Ryan, so I knew that going against Ryan, I could still win. And he's super fast, but obviously his seasons have been a little more inconsistent. But honestly, across the board, all these cars now are so much more closer in proximity of ET time and operation if the driver and crew are doing their, and the tuner's doing their job right. So at that point, you got to leave it up to who got the closest of the, of their expectation on that tune and the driver doing his job on the tree,
That's exactly it. Now, just like Nate did in California, you drew the lucky bye chip straight into the finals. You had a bye run. Now, I talked to Nate about it and what his strategy was during his bye run to get to the finals. Talk about your bye run and why you chose to do what you did.
So we obviously had a little bit of oil huffing out of 2, and I started huffing a little bit out of 4, just a little bit. I knew we had a fast car, and I knew what we ran. Like I said, we run a 402, 403, somewhere in the neighborhood. So people had asked me, I figured I'd share since we're live. So we were going faster and faster, and I knew that the lap that I ran was just, I was content with knowing that, look, I've watched other guys, Greg Powery, who has helped me keyboard, we keyboard together. We're like fire and water, and we work really well together. Well, he'd also seen some lives. He's like, man, I think we're on the right path. Let's not make anything drastic. Let's just go out there. Let's just take the tree, break the beams, back it out, and we'll let it live to see the finals. So that's what we did. And at the time, honestly, I already knew left lane was better. Keep in mind, Caden went and won small tire. He run it a Friday night in small tire, won Sunday in small tire, Saturday night, one Sunday in small tire. And I was already kind of reading that and helping him power manage tune that car. So I was getting an idea of lanes that he was in. So that being a little bit of a benefit to me too, to be quite honest with you. I knew that left lane was better. Sean knew the left lane was better. So when I drew the lucky, chip to have a bye, I can only hope that at this point that him or I got lucky. I obviously got lucky drawing the chip for the lane choice, or he didn't get lucky, and I did. So
right.
I got left lane and it worked out.
Yeah. And then in the finals, obviously you faced Sean. Sean had been flying all day, which was the total opposite of his performance at California. I know he did a lot of testing between the 2 races, and that clearly figured some things out. So the final race, you both had got about, I don't know, maybe about 3:30. You both seemed like you both let off, started doing some driving. Sean got across the line first. Talk about what happened on that run for you.
Look, man, as Jeff Lutz would say, typically, I let off the brake and never seen him. That's kind of how it was. And when you let off the trans brake, when you're in a run like that, obviously when you know that it's make or break, or it's do or die, like it was the finals, you say to yourself, you get past that 100-foot zone, that 1.5 zone, you're good. I got past that 1.5 zone, and it was just like the cautious feel of me went away, because I felt like the excited feeling was getting ready to arise. And then I got 2.5 in the run, and the car just went poof, flame came out my burst panel, and I heard nothing, and I heard a whoop, and I'm like, and there he was. So
yeah.
I was literally like, no way, he no way. And then there he was, and I'm like, oh. And then because that happened, I'm looking over at him. I didn't look up at the tower, and I knew it was kind of close to the finish line where he ended up clipping me. So I wasn't even sure. Actually, I'm like, I'm pretty confident he just got me, but maybe I got lucky. I don't think so, but maybe. And then when we got down in the end, he's grabs me, "You got a hot rod? That's a fast car." I'm like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "But you won, right?" He's like, "Yeah, I won." I'm like, "I thought so." So
tough, man.
I was
you don't know.
I didn't pedal at all. The car was on a pass, and it a fuel line was overlooked. It came loose, and it lost half fuel pressure. It ended up leaning out the car. It stretched all the valves. They lost lash on every hole. Had a little lash on the exhaust valves, but pinched springs on 3 other pistons, and had to put a fresh motor back, for refreshing the whole entire car. So
yeah,
unfortunately, but here I am, fresh this weekend, and I'm on the money. My 5-hour energies are stacked, piled, ready for me to do my thing. So I'm gonna be fast on the tree, if it's pro tree or instant green, and we're gonna do our thing, man. And hopefully we're gonna come out here on top, and we're gonna redeem ourselves.
Hell yeah! So you mentioned Caden a little bit ago about how he won the small tire class there on that, ended up being on Sunday. Talk about his performance there, and then how much he's matured since he has first started racing.
My God, man, this kid. So he junior dragster raced. My wife and I, Amy, bought him. This junior back when he was, I guess, 8 or 9. We tried to class race him a little bit. We taught him how to taught me how to kind of hold a package between the index race and stuff. And, we got a little familiar, and he got really good at killing the tree. And then obviously kids being kids nowadays with all the electronics like they are, he got super good at just playing video games and obviously doing well. All my boys are motocrossers. They all had side-by-sides, and we all did a lot of crazy stuff together as a family while they're growing up. So they learned really how to drive. My in-laws got a little piece of property down at their place where they could go back and we could drift in the woods. We got a motocross track at our house, and a lot of times. So he has always been smart enough to not overdrive the car, thank God. And he, at 15 years old, started racing entry levels. My first Starion that we started racing, he won, I think, 70 grand his first year at 15 total that whole year at 15.
Nice.
No prep racing, back to the track. I mean, 30,000 he won alone just at Grand Hustle race, which I'm not sure if you remember that big race at back of the track at Tennessee. So he won 30 grand there, went down to 5 guys. We all split that race. But he won a lot of money that year. And then we built his truck. We struggled with that with different things and making different changes. And he is a kid, by the way I look at him now. I mean, now we pump iron together. We're competitive together in the gym. We're competitive together on the tree. We're competitive together. We're competitive everywhere. When I was a kid, I was competitive with everything. And he is my son. Bella, stop. Sorry, my dog is trying to get her ball. So he's my son that's the most competitive out of all of them. And I mean, if I'm working and I'm pushing a wheelbarrow and you're pushing a wheelbarrow beside me, it's a race. So, he's like that too. So watching him grow up is it's super gratifying, but it's also, he pushes me. So I got to keep up with him. So when he won, I had to do my job and win. And I did my job as a tuner. I did my job as a driver. The car just didn't do his job, and maybe I didn't do my job as a crew, as an overseer of the crew chief and the crew, tightening my ship down tight enough to where we didn't miss a beat. Because at this level, it's not faint-hearted. You got to do everything you can do to not miss a beat at this level, because otherwise it'll cost you obviously a win or cost you life or cost you an expensive hot rod. But Caden, he's just super impressive though, man. I can't say enough. X2, that was his first weekend. So he's never driven a car. He never even sat in a car until we loaded it that night. Yeah. So for him to go out there, kill it, treat people, not blow it up, not put it in the wrong gear, not push the wrong buttons. The kid's pretty. I'm just amazed with him, and he's going to be like a Lyle Barnett. If anybody were ever need a driver when this kid gets older, and and they look for people that are like that kind of experience and that kind of level of driver that can throw the 220s crossed up with 1.5 lateral G's, like he's that kid. So I'm super impressed with him, man. I know it was a long-winded, not quick answer, but bro, I'm like, I can't say enough about the boy.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He really is. I can't wait to see as he even gets older and more experienced what he's going to be able to do. So
I want him in a big tire car, man. He's just got this small tire kick, because how small tire is huge. Small tire is like the thing of the world nowadays. So I'm like, I just want you to run big tire, man. I'm telling you, once you get bit by the bug, you're just gonna love it. He's like, I just want to go on the radio. I'll get bit by the bug on the radio. I'm like, okay.
He's got a plan. It sounds like
he does. He does.
So now with Caden winning on that Sunday before your race actually happened, and then you're sitting there. You saw your son win, small tire. You are going for your first main event, your first No Prep Kings Speed Promotions Racing main event win, your first one, combined with, it'd be cool for both you guys, father and son, to win your guys' events on the same day at the same place.
Yeah.
Did you feel any little added pressure in that last race?
We joked around. I'm like, no pressure, guys. No pressure, right? Joked about it. No, I didn't. I joked about it, but honestly, man, the whole weekend up to that time was so surreal. And these guys talked me out of taking 2 cars. About 7 o'clock was the last night. Amy, we actually called Amy and was like, "What do you think?" I mean, these guys are trying to talk me out of the chaos in the pits. And they're like, she's like, well, you're gonna be having Caden Crew with you and be your main guy running in the groove and doing the things that he can't do if he's in the other race car. So maybe you should leave the car behind. And do you want to? I'm like, yeah, but I want to double down, man. I'm like, I want to do what I couldn't do last week because I felt like I let Colby, my little man, and Caden down because we didn't win. But they know they're not mad and they're not disappointed other than us not winning. But Caden didn't even get a chance to watch one of our laps because they were too busy behind the keyboard and under the car or working on his car, turning it over, because that was our first time ever turning over two 44,000 plus horsepower cars. And believe me, we're using all the power, that much power in small tire and big tire. So you're using every bit of it. You're leaning on them. You're not leaning on a small tire quite as much because it's not all in as long, but you're using all the power the car has. I put lockup in the car since then to tell you how much I needed to add something else to the car.
Nice. That'll work good. So after 2 races now, with no rules, it seems like there's a lot more Pro Chargers than screw blowers, but it seems like the Pro Chargers doing really well.
It's amazing.
These first 2 races. Do you foresee a change coming to the rules, or do you think it's just going to remain how it is for the rest of the season?
I mean, I don't really know. I heard that New Hampshire's canceled. Did you see that or hear that? So there's no New Hampshire race now, I believe. So I don't know how much. I'm not sure what races. How many big tire races are left outside of that? I don't have those.
After Epping would be 3 more.
Okay, so there's going to be 3 more after that. So I don't think anything's going to change. I don't see why. I think it's. I mean, look. I think everybody was super intimidated. Let's just paint this picture for a second. I think people were all in left field with thinking about how fast things are going to be, how fast people are going to go, what they're going to need, nitromethane, M5, nitrous, which I think is nitrous express. But I'm in an MH5, man. I'm in a decade-old motor. So I don't have M5. I don't have nitroparaffin in my fuel.
Yeah.
So do I think the rules need to change? Hell nah. Look out there, them little M85. Bring y'all shit. Let's go. Come on. Run it.
Yeah. You're right. That was the big storyline is obviously everybody, especially using Pro Charger with nitrous and everything like that.
Sure.
You can get more power, but it's like, are you going to be able to use the power at all with these type of tracks? You know what I mean?
And honestly, if you're screw blown, I don't know enough about screw blowers, whether you can spray those or not, but I imagine they have enough overdrive capability. You can probably put more power in them than we can because we're limited. Obviously we can go to bigger blowers now, 144, 145, spray the 144, make a better atmosphere for the 144 so it's more efficient. But Nate had that set up on his car last week and probably at MH7 or MH8. I'm not sure if they have the latest and greatest in that or not, but he clipped me by a fender and that was the slowest pass I made all weekend. So I'm just saying that, I had a 140-1, they had a 144, there's things that and nitrous, and they sprayed their run. I didn't even spray my run. I was on motor. So, I don't think anything should be, anything can happen to limit the Pro Charger cars. Pro Charger's just animals. I mean, they're just the whole setup, the car, the operation, honestly, the M&M transmission, the combo, everything that's kind of been cookie cutter built. Like I said last year, it's a cheat code. I mean, I've 52 runs, bro. 52 runs on this combo. I've never used Fuel Tech till this year. I've never used a Pro Charger. Never ever used a Pro Charger. I had a supercharger on a Cadillac CTSV, and I got a supercharger on my wife's GM Corvette factory. So that stuff's all OEM. I had very little experience ever power managing and being a part of that. So to tell you, I'm tooting my horn. I'm good at power managing. I'm good at doing that. Yes. Am I the greatest? No. There's definitely people out there better. But if I can keep wrapping my head around this, I'm only going to get better. And I feel like what I do some other things that are a little indifferent than some of these other guys, only because I'm a suspension guy too. So I do all my own stuff, and I do things a little different. I think it helps my program. Maybe some guys do the same. There might be a few guys here. I'm not totally sure, but I would imagine probably. But the combo is just so user friendly.
Yeah.
So, and it's honestly resilient. Look, The people that have claimed I had a Pro Charger fail last week. No fault of Pro Charger. Zero fault of Pro Charger. Comp Turbo sponsors me. They're great. They're not mad. They understand that I have a Pro Charge car. I support them. We love their turbos on our turbo cars. We support them and love them. We support and love Pro Chargers just the same. And it is the most amazing Pro Charger combination that I've ever seen or been a part of. And I had 32 passes on my Pro Charger, and it only failed because my guys didn't make the decision to change it out because it showed it had a problem. Hey, titanium bearings were going away. It had some oil, had metal in the oil. It was a telltale. Yeah. We don't rev our gas, so we don't do anything. No whipping, whopping throttles like to clear out a nitrous motor. We do zero of that. I hear a lot of that in the pits. Guys might have failures, and sometimes I had zero up to then. And if I have one tomorrow or today, I'm not going to change my tune. I think that the parts are resilient. They get beat on and abused. I broke turbos in less runs than 30 runs, so it happens. The best parts fail. This is racing. So it's just amazing. It's amazing product, and they're only going to continue to get more efficient and more better as technology comes available,
I agree, man. I agree. And what you're doing, what you got going, obviously is working. So I wouldn't change nothing, man. I know, like I said, there was a lot of talk about people doing this and that all off season to get ready, but like I said, I really think that the track is the neutralizer and no prep, and that's just how it is.
Yep.
So,
yes, sir. And you know what? The biggest thing is the heat of the day is an animal. The heat of the day is one of those, what's the word I'm looking for? It can make you or break you. Obviously, the heat of the day, but it levels the playing field. So.
Yeah.
If you know how to race through the heat of the day.
And we just lost him. I'm going to guess he got a phone call because he's on his phone. Sorry about that. We will try to get Chris back in here as soon as we can. I should have reminded him to put his phone on airplane mode. If you have any questions for Chris, we are going to get to some questions shortly. So save them for that time. And we'll try to get some of your questions. Who is in the chat?
I don't know what happened. Sorry, man. I don't know what happened. It's probably my Cricket phone. You there?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Did you get a phone call?
No, it's probably just my Cricket phone.
Cricket.
Race car parts take me broke, man. What are you going to do? You got to have a Cricket phone.
Yeah. No, I'm glad
I have an Android.
You were talking about the struggles of the heat of the day, and if you can, if you can get through those first couple of rounds.
Yeah, if you got to just know how to read the track, and if you're good at reading wheel speed and understanding drive shaft speeds and G meter and all the things that are giving you the telltale of what's going on, you're going to be able to know the track surface is giving you feedback. You don't always get the feedback till it's too late, so it's not like you can go and get the feedback and make the change before you make a lap unless you are sharing data with somebody else. If you had a partner who made a lap, they can radio back. If you're a couple cars back, say, hey, man, look, track's crazy, XYZ happened, you can make a change, then you got upper hand. If you don't have that, then you don't have the upper hand. So, but the heat of the day is an equalizer for sure.
Definitely. So Friday night, this was your first race of the season. Friday night, introduced a new format called Beat the Champs, where you race straight off the trailer. And then if you win, you get entered into a chip draw to race the champs, the former champs. How tough is it? How tough? Because there's no test pass or nothing. It's straight off the trailer Friday night. So how tough is that being in a big tire car?
So I created my tune-ups this year at 2 home tracks. Capital Raceway being one of them. It's my home track. The guy that runs the track now has been great to me earlier this season and gave me an opportunity to test there as much as I wanted when I needed. And then Beaver Springs Dragway is another local track of mine that I've been able to test at. And I asked them to give me surfaces that I thought would be adequate. And I gave my crew the ability to go up to the starting line and kind of be my telltale what they thought would be equivalent to what we normally run on an E1, E2, things like that. So I just tried to recreate, which everybody does. But what I didn't do is I did not go to some extremely fast surface and figure out how to PB the car. I just end up PBing the car by learning how to get after it on what we run typically on a day-to-day in the MPK Speed Promotions series. So I was fortunate those tracks and those track owners and their prep abilities was able to kind of mimic what I needed. And maybe also is because there wasn't always a ton of cars there. So when we were doing it, we were kind of there being able to try and we were there with kind of we weren't there with the ability of a track coming around automatically because there's tons of cars going down the surface. So I think that allows me to be a little easier at it or a little better at it from what I've learned this year with this car. But yes, it does create some question in your mind whether or not you're going to leave something on the table. Clearly, I left something on the table last week against Nate. Actually, the pass I used, it slowed down a little bit because I had a little more wheel speed up front. So it went slower early because it was a little too hot. But again, a lesson learned. I was able to learn from that because obviously the surface was a little less than what I was used to. And now I have to go back to the keyboard this weekend, and which will be tonight. And I'm going to look through all that data, regroup, reread, and move on to try and create me a new E1 for tomorrow based on what I think is going to be here. Without even walking the track, I pretty much know what I should be able to put in the car. I just got to decide how much I want to tame it early from what I tried last week against Nate on Friday night.
Yeah. Obviously, Chris, you tune your own car, correct?
So I use Greg Powery, also GP Tuning. He's a buddy of mine. We tune together. So we tune together for two reasons. We're typically running two cars, and it's so much for me to try and do both. But primarily, him and I do it together. He was the original one that built the tune up with Camaro when I built it. I had Chase helping me last year, and then went into this year. I said, Greg, I'm going to pretty much try and tune what I can on my own, and I need you to read data, help me key in anything I'm missing, and be a big part of my game because him and I, we bounce super well off one another. We're buddies. He's super knowledgeable. He's been in the radio world. He tuned Tom Bailey's car. I think Tom Bailey just broke the door slammer world record for the sick week stuff. And so he's learned a lot on big tire. Now, he wasn't originally a big tire guy at all. He learned a lot of big tire stuff from me and Tom, and probably more majority of me because I did a lot more racing than Tom did. But I do most of it, but not without Greg. So Greg is a key part of my program.
Okay, I got you, man. Yeah, so that's pretty. I mean, I think a lot of most of the teams probably now in speed promotions have an actual hired tuner.
Yeah, you have to have somebody that you can make erratic decisions. I've noticed, and like I said, we're like fire and water. He'll douse me when I'm like, I'm going to do something like a little more. He'll say, well, no, maybe don't do that much. And I'm like, tell me why. What do you see? He's like, well, look here. And I'm like, I love you, Greg. That's why you're on the phone with me right now, buddy. So it's just it's that kind of relationship, and I couldn't do it without him. We always go faster and faster when we work together. There's been times when he's not available, which is a lot of times, and I do a lot of it all on my own only. And at the end of last year, I did it all on my own before when we were at the Elite 16. But yeah, man, he's a big part, man. I love the dude.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like you guys got a good partnership there.
Yeah.
I know your focus obviously is on Ohio this weekend, but we got to talk a little bit about Bowling Green next weekend. The 128 car, no prep small tire race for $100,000, which could very well be the biggest small tire race with money and number of cars maybe ever. How many cars are you bringing? Who's racing?
So Boosa did give Caden an invite. Caden could bring a car. Caden has his truck sitting on radials right now. It is on M1. It does make a little more power than OG Relic. I have OG Relic up for sale because I'm still in a financial bind where I built that Camaro in 30 days. 10 days actually, it's Friday, but about 30 days total last July. Spur of the moment. I'm going to blame it all on Kai Kelly's. He busted my tail and busted my ass and said I got to go get a Pro Charge car. So I did. Well, extended myself, and I just know that I got so many cars. 4 cars a lot. Not so many. More than I need. Now that I know the caliber of small tire racing I'm doing, I love X2. HFR Fabrication builds a freaking phenomenal car, and that car is just amazing. So putting it on smalls was kind of heartbreaking because I love my sissy sticks. I love my big tires. I've always liked that rake look. I used to draw like I'm a 70s kid. So an 80s, the 18 van with the big tires in the back and the rake front end. Like I loved all that look growing up. So I still love my big tires, and I didn't want to see it come off. And I love being able to go threes with that car off the trailer just about anywhere. And I didn't want to slow it down to that level, but it loves it. We've got like 20 passes now on that car with smalls, and we went faster and faster and faster and faster. Don't get me wrong, we went slower a couple last week. We made some wrong, fat fingers, but the car's fast now. And Caden wants to not go he doesn't like a participation trophy like his dad. He wants to go and be able to win. So I told him, I was like, look, we can take OG. I have it up for sale, but regardless, we can still race it. It's my car. We have nitrous on that car too. So I'm like, if you want to spray it, it'll be competitive enough to do what it needs to do if we spray it. But Caden knows, like, if he doesn't have a firecracker and he doesn't have a smoking gun, he just doesn't. And I don't blame him, but he just doesn't want to be a participant. So I messaged Jen when she asked me what's going on. I said, I'll let you know as soon as I can know. I just got to leave it up to him to decide. But we are definitely taking X2 with me driving. I don't think we're going to take his truck because it's on a radial. We have to change everything up from World Cup the way it's at last season. And we don't have time. We actually got a text not bringing X2 here because we knew we couldn't test here without jumping in eliminations. And I said to Caden, well, we could go there and test. She's like, you think I'm going to go around and win and then concede, just put the car in the trailer to help you, Dad? No, I'm winning. I'm going to keep winning. I'm like, you're right. I wasn't expecting less. So we got to test it this week when we get back, providing we can catch a day without rain before Kentucky, because we changed a few things since Virginia to pick up the speed a little bit. Whether we're going to need it or not in Kentucky, that's to be determined. But I'd rather have than not need than need not have. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure. As seasoned as you are, obviously in small tires, you've been doing it for a long, long time. Are there you got big expectations to do well in this race next week?
I do, man. I do. I think that I've always been a really good track reader and track gauge of what a surface can take. We don't have a ton of library with the car of, let's say, a 14 to 4.0 surface for if the car would do something like that, right? Which I haven't been that fast, but I don't have that data, and I don't have also 550 data. So, if I was in a predicament where the surfaces were to swing that direction, that far either way, we're going to be in left field, and we're going to be like, we're going to be guessing. So,
right. Yeah. So I haven't heard exactly how it's all going to look for that race as far as what rounds and what day. I just know with the 128 cars, that is 127 races that'll have to happen.
Animals.
64 races in the first round alone. So, I mean, what kind of are there strategies you guys have been thinking about? How you're going to get through? Because if you win it all, you're racing seven rounds of racing.
Yeah.
And it might end up being 6 rounds in one day. I don't know how it's all going to look, but have you thought about all that?
Well, I think so it's going to be one round on Friday, and then Saturday is going to be the other 6 rounds. So,
yeah.
No, man, just I think we're going to have obviously a lot more time between rounds of turnover cars until the last 2 rounds.
For sure.
Cooling down these cars, we're all kind of racing the same caliber car. And to be honest with you, unless the surface turns south and water starts pouring out of the track at Bowling Green, Kentucky, I don't think there's going to be a field of cars that's going to need less time than others. They're all going to need the same kind of time to cool down. So there's not like you're going to have anybody like trying to rush anybody to the burnout box to make a pass to pull an okie doke or anything. It's going to be fast racing. But you're going to have probably quite a few people that are using the same tuners, that whether they're sharing data, whether the data is being mimicked to other cars or something similar, I don't really know. That's one of the things that I don't unfortunately have in my arsenal, is that kind of ability to have somebody, throw me a bone. Yo, I just use this. Yo, I just use that. I'm running a 41X of all cars. I'm one of very minimal, one of many few that probably still even have that combo. So I don't have that. I have a Wayne Rogers transmission. I have a Pro Tour converter. I have a 41, Burley Bridge 41. Everybody's running like a Proline Hemi, M&M trans, M&M converter, all similar componentry, so they're able to mimic things. So those guys are going to struggle with one another when they draw each other even more, I feel like, because they're going to feel like, man, we know what this guy usually tunes and how he usually runs. So I think they're going to struggle with maybe going rounds and staying away from the hammers that they're more familiar with. I all racing, even like here this weekend, it's all luck, whether it's good luck or bad luck. You don't know what you're getting. So I just know that you always got to have a little luck, whether it be in the coin toss, whether it be in the lane draw, whether it be the buy run, the competition buy, whether it be the, whatever the case may be. You got to have some of it. So I just hope that we can gather up some of that. And little Lady Luck's on our side this next couple weekends. We need the money, man. I need to recover. I spent 17 grand fixing my car this week. It's not cheap, man.
Maybe you'll win some this weekend.
I hope so, bro. 40 grand will be great.
Hey, I got a stat for you. I'm sure you know this because you probably feel it. But so in your short speed promotions racing career, you now have more round wins in your Pro Charge Camaro in less races than you did with your turbo car. Meaning last year in Washington, you made the right choice, I think, to switch to a Pro Charge Camaro.
I did. And they know, and even my buddies at Comp, the owners and all, they know that the Pro Charge combination is just an animal car to compete at this level of racing. When it comes to horsepower, we want a super glue track, where, you can use all the horsepower a car has, maybe a Hemi turbo would be on top, obviously some ETs. I mean, Sean has shown how fast he's went, in a turbo combination, 358, I think he went, right? And a twin turbo Hemi, Mark Mickey, all those guys, super fast. So twin turbo cars are super fast. I'm not sure. Has there been any really Pro Charge cars in the 50s yet?
Don't know.
I don't know either. That's a good stat. I'd like to know how many Pro Charge cars are in the 50s.
I'm sure there's a couple. I'm sure there's been some.
Yeah, I didn't know, like PDRA wise, in any of the more any of the other sanction events. But so yes, but Washington, it was a good decision. And, we went into Idaho and did fairly well our next race. And I think we made a semis or final run in a class of the event until we got to the elite race. So we did good with the car.
You definitely did. You could see the change. You could definitely see the difference for sure.
It took a little bit to get used to staging it and all and understanding, but now I'm money.
Yeah. So Chris, if you want, Chris, we'll take a couple of questions from the people in the
chat.
chat.
I can't see any comments. How do I see the comments?
You're on your phone. It should be towards the bottom.
Without Xing me out of here, here's my IT girl. Come here, baby.
I'm not getting on there.
Everyone can see
Chat?
Yeah, chat.
Nope.
No. How do I go back?
Oh,
I can look too, Chris.
There's the comments, but now you lost the. Are you still on camera?
How do I go back
if you're
to
on
camera?
your phone, you're on your camera. If you're on your phone, if you look at comments, you're still on, but you just can't see yourself.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. I don't need to see me. I'm all good guy.
Tizzle said here that Jason Harris, who drives a Pro Charge Camaro and PDRA, he went through 59.
Oh, nice. So. That's awesome.
I do have a question for you though. Now, so I remember talking to you in season 6. It was your first season of No Prep Kings, and there was you were talking about the learning curve, about just maintenance on the car between rounds, everything. You were trying to get used to that whole thing, and then now, like you said, about halfway through the season, you went to a totally different setup, totally different car. Are you finally at the point now where you're feeling pretty comfortable with not only the type of racing you're doing, but your setup and in maintenance on everything? Is the learning curve a lot smaller than what it used to be?
So I tell you, you can't take anything for granted. A few things were taken for granted last week on my buy run, and we missed the leaky line just because downtime, super excited, a lot of pumped up energy. You can't allow the energy also to affect like just running a tight ship, So I feel like the car is so much easier to maintain and operate and run. There's just different things that break. The zoomies have failures. You have to look at different parts of the car. The vibration is tremendous. Hey, give me back to the camera so I can see him. I want to see his handsome self when I'm talking. I can't. I'm getting actually ADD and out when I'm seeing the comments. How do I get back? How do I get back, Chris? The people? Yeah, that's how to punch some keys. There we go. So I do think it's easier for a crew and a race program to manage. But you have to, every weekend I've run it, I've had more of a learning curve realizing how I need to update my checklist. So I have a checklist. So what I did to kind of dumb down things for my program is I created a checklist for every car all the things we check every round, everything that we do every round. So everybody has a duty. Sometimes other people have other duties swap if somebody isn't around. That creates complications sometimes. But it is an easier car to operate. You just got to have everybody working together as a well-oiled machine. If everybody is doing their job, this car and this combination, I feel of these cars, my car specifically, I feel like is an unbeatable machine if we're all doing our jobs 100. Me as a driver, me and my guy as a tuner, my crew as a crew. My wife is, my support, my kids. When you have all those things going in your favor, I mean, you manifest it,
Right. Yeah. Yep. For sure. I get that.
So it's very important to have it. And it's so hard to always get all those things working together. I love everybody's ever been a part of my game. I love everybody's been a part of my team over the years. I got my old crew chief back with me, crewing with me this weekend. He won with us last week. He also runs and manages our shop in Northeast Unlimited. Him and I used to win 8 out of 10 races in the past. This level's a little different for him because we all street race back then. He was crewing for me when we all raced in the street. Set of wheelie bars on the street. Some race tracks, some streets, we didn't need to worry about wheelie bars. So,
right.
There was less, no headsets. He grabs the headset. He's like, "What the hell do I do? How does Adam run this thing?" So, so there's definitely differences, and you just got to have everybody working together. If you got the money to support your program, to pay like hired pro line guys to come out for $570,000 a day or whatever they have, and you can have that operation, dude. Like, I feel like if you have everything, you're not missing nothing with your suspension, your tune-up, your setup in your car, and you have all those guys operating as a well-oiled machine, shit should not go wrong. You should win day in and day out. That's what I feel like. My company and the business I'm in, I have a tree and crane service. I have a concrete company, and I have a performance shop. I have a roll-off service too. We just mainly focus on our tree industry is our biggest bread and butter operation, but it is a live or die job. If you F up, you lose a limb, you kill somebody, or you destroy somebody's most important asset. We take down some of the biggest trees. So in my industry, there's no room for mistakes. So I treat my program, and I'm very direct, straightforward, and abrasive sometimes, but people know me, and I tell them, "Look, man, if it's too hot in the kitchen, get out, because I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Either love it or hate it." And I tell you, if I can run my program like I run my business, and everybody, all the salesmen, all the office, the clerical, the admins, the payables, the receivables, everybody works together there, right? Things don't go unscathed. You make money, just like racing. If you can do it all here and treat it all the same way, all your people do their job and work and operate, as your business does, and you flourish there, you'll flourish here. So I still have fun though, because I love my business. I love work. I used to hate work when I used to work for somebody else. And I even hated work when I had to do it all on my own. But now I don't do all the work. I have functionaries and staff that field the positions. And now I love my workplace. I love going to work. I love being there when I'm there. Just like the racetrack. It's a ton of work. Tremendous. I work harder here than I work in my business. And I love it the same, because when everybody's doing their part, like the staff here, let's say the crew, they're doing their jobs. I'm doing my job. We're all working. Yeah, I might not be smiling. I might be walking around the pits, have a grin on my face or a mug, but I'm happy. I'm having fun. Yeah. I'm in work mode. Like, I'm in my office still,
Right.
So, but I wish sometimes I could sit back and enjoy it more. And my people are like, "Smile, man." I'm like, "Dude, I'm smiling inside, believe me."
Yeah, man, that sounds like it's got a great analogy there. If you run your business a certain way and it's successful, I mean, your race program should be the same exact thing.
Yeah, you just got to make sure, like you said, you don't skip a beat, and sometimes you got to step on next at work. You got to step on next in the racing, it's just one of those things. It's just, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just got to be, free spirited and let things kind of fly and they fix themselves. But, I just know that I love this. I hope it doesn't go away. I love the fact that speed promotions. Well, I'm the underdog here. I always say, I said this year, I'm hoping to be like the Damon Merchant, the guy that comes out here with the underdog setup, the underdog combo, kicks everybody's ass and goes home. And that's what I want to be able to do this year, because my first season in was season 6, and I ended up here at my first race ever with Relic X2 was at Hebron, Ohio, National Trail. and we didn't do well. We had some dumb things happen. Even blew the car up. Had an injector driver that was unplugged. Take the motor out. But if I can redeem myself here, I'll be super happy. And I don't know, man. I just love it. I just want it to continue. I don't want it to end. I'm disappointed Epping's not going to be happening because it's, still on my kind of Northeast coast and it's close to me. New Hampshire, I was looking forward to that race. I was actually doing well on my run up there, X2, and I had a shoot button on my steering wheel and I was racing Mike Barillo. I was out on like car and a half and I hit the damn shoot buttons driving the car and the chute deployed, drug the chutes. But let me tell you what I learned. I lost that race, but I learned so much in that run. So I never knew anything about shearing transmission fluid. I never knew when I was losing a little bit of mile an hour here in my turbo car that my fluid was getting burnt up from being overheated. And, I started learning fluids and I learned and I kind of getting sponsored by Schaefer's oil in that car. And I learned what oils they owned. I went to their tech sheets and learned their flash points at 100 degrees Celsius and at 500 to learn what would be the best fluid. Now I came up with a fluid they have that they didn't even think would work so well, and it's incredible and allowed my car, my turbo cars to go so much faster. So I learned when that chute deployed that I sheared the fluid because I went to the track the next day. They only went 183 mile an hour. I'm like, what the hell? And my transmission guy from back in Virginia, Wayne Rogers Automotive, was like, you sheared the fluid. I'm like, what the hell you mean? It's hydraulic fluid. He's like, you sheared the fluid. I'm like, so I learned that you can shear fluid and fluid gets beat up really bad, how often you need to cycle it. So I didn't win out there, but I had a hot rod out there. It was going to be super fast. I think Kai and I grudge race. He clipped me by like a half a car. I'm like, and jangling at the time, I'm like, man, that was our first pass out. We got a hot rod. So I didn't get a chance to perform, but I thought we were going to be able to perform there this year, but not so much.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Now that you're basically a pro when it comes to big tire, no prep racing. I think you mentioned earlier that you had room for one more car in your shop. When are you gonna join the cool kids and start pro mod racing?
I don't have the money. When Wife's money when she gets a new money tree.
Oh, okay.
So I just go. Let me tell you how that name transpired or manifested. So
yeah, please do.
When Kai busted my balls about getting, jangalanged, she's like, look, I love travel, and this has been a lifelong experience, being able to travel across the country in the mountains, out west, all over the place, seeing friends, meeting new friends, meeting fans, meeting people. It's been a tremendous experience, but I don't like seeing you lose. I've never seen you lose in anything. It's so humbling for me. Everything you've ever raced and have done, you've been super competitive. You've been number one, or at least been number one once. Like, this is like you're not even on the food chain. So she's like, you got to do something different, or we got to just call it quits. So she's like, let's build a car. Well, I had some blowhards reach out to me, say, I'm going to buy you this, I'm going to buy you that. Kai's video inspired me to help you because you're the underdog and you don't have the money. We're going to get you. They went MIA when the time came to stroke a check. So at that point, I already said, oh, I'm going to potentially have this guy's help and this guy's help. So let's do it. I'm like, all right. So Kai hit me one day and was like, well, I might sell Jangalang, but it's going in the shop. You want to buy it? I'm like, well, what do you want? He said, let me think about it. Well, I guess he hit Ryan up, told Ryan about me wanting a car. Well, Ryan at that point, his one partner, what's the guy's name with the orange car?
Carson Baker.
Carson. Him and Carson had purchased Scott Taylor's car, the new car that I have now. And it was supposed to be the tribute car for his dad. Well, we ended up, I didn't want it. It wasn't my brand. Ryan called me like, nah. It's not a Camaro. Nah. Now it's like, what kind of car you got? I got a Camaro. When the hot girls come up, like, what kind of car you drive? Baby, I drive a Camaro. So,
hell yeah.
So Amy basically was like, this is the only car that I've ever built in my entire existence of drag racing that I did not have to ask for. It was the old saying, you have to usually beg for forgiveness and ask for permission. So she gave me permission to build a car, and we kind of exploited ourselves and, stretched ourselves and took some things and some more her money that she would have liked to use for other things, a shop money. I was going to build a shop for Northeast Unlimited. I postponed that. I built the car. hoping for big dreams and aspirations that things were going to be a little different this year and going in the direction of maybe bigger and better things through the speed promotions deal. And I'm still keep my fingers crossed that things can still happen there. And if they don't, maybe we'll put our steel roof and quarter cars like Kyle Kelly in a pro mod operation. But that car got the name because I felt like it was just suitable. You know, it's the only car she ever gave me the permission to build. You know, and if I did do pro mod racing, it would be in that car.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Could you get it light enough?
So I just learned that my scales are a little effed up. So I got these wireless scales. It's kind of a good thing, but I don't know, excite myself to know what my car really weighs. My car's pretty light, and if I can lose. This is no bullshit. I do love Ryan Martin's front end, and if Ryan Martin, if anybody can tag him, let him know I'd love to buy one of his front ends because it's beautiful. His car is so sexy with that front end. Now that I'm a Camaro guy, I can definitely say that. So I do want his front end, and if he would sell me one, I would love to buy one when I win this weekend with my winnings. So I need a light in the front end. The front end weighs 67 pounds on my car. I weighed it this weekend. But how I found that out, I weighed it the first time, it weighed 74. So my scales, you have to kind of fool them. So now I'm also down 47 pounds. So I'm the titanium. So, it didn't cost me much. It cost me some money. I save money on lunch money and dinner now, and I didn't have to buy titanium, and I lost 47 pounds. So I made my car faster myself just by getting more healthy. So the car is light. Yes. Not like probably super light, but it's light. And if I have glass doors, glass front end. And I have a little weight in the back. So if I was able to do all of what I'd like to do, I'd be able to get about 97 pounds out of my car on top of where I'm already at. So I could get down to probably pro boost weight. If they have a weight of like 26, 25, I could be right there probably.
Okay.
Or maybe better.
You never know, man. You never know what the future holds.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I have that financial ability. Like wife's money's, like I said, she needs a new money tree, man. So
yeah,
I'm kidding. My money's her money and vice versa. But she's my glue. I can't do it without her.
Hey, Chris, I noticed you had a new YouTube video. For those of you who don't follow Chris or not, where can people follow you on social medias?
So they can follow us at Chris Rankin Racing on Facebook, Chris Rankin Racing on Instagram, and then obviously Chris Rankin Racing on YouTube. We obviously appreciate anybody that's on here that would like to subscribe and follow us. We have a great guy, Brad, that is on with our media, and he is doing a fine job. We appreciate him. He also does our C2 Crane and Tree Service YouTube that he's been trying to work on to keep things going there back at our businesses. So our YouTubes are important. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to give those plugs, Chris. It means a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I don't want to keep you all night either, buddy. I know you got some winning to do this weekend, and you just got there, so you got to get all set up and get ready to run.
Sorry, they're out.
So
they're out there.
I appreciate you coming, man. Appreciate you coming on, man.
We appreciate you, man. We all appreciate you, man. We all appreciate you. Like I told you on the phone earlier, you're a big part of this whole game for us out here. A lot of us wouldn't even know what the hell where we sit if it wasn't for you. So
appreciate that, man. I really do. And before I get off, I want to say thank you for coming on. I want to say a huge thank you to Wes Buck and Drag Illustrated for giving me an opportunity to be seen by a much larger crowd. I'm excited. I'm going to work with Drag Illustrated now, see what the future holds.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And you were my first guest on.
Well, that's great.
I'm Illustrated, so
I'm flattered.
We'll do it again, man.
Sounds good. Hopefully, one of these days I'll be in West Buck's view, and maybe we'll have some interest in having us come down there and shake something down where we can go out there and maybe outlaw 10-5 and do some damage if we can't do the pro mod, because that would be something we could be competitive in if we didn't want to chase the pro mod world. But you never know, man. You never know, right?
Oh yeah, man. Good luck this weekend, buddy. I'll be.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
I won't be there, but I'll be in Bowling Green, so I'll come say hi to you when I'm there.
Sounds good. We'll see you there.
All right, buddy. See ya. Thanks.
Got it, guys. Have a good one, man. Thank everybody for watching now. Appreciate y'all.